Governor Kristi Noem is running for her own reelection in South Dakota this upcoming November. But first, she will deliver her State of the State address in South Dakota this upcoming week. She joins me now with a preview. Governor, good morning to you. It is wonderful to see you this morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year, Maria.
And to you, Glenn Youngkin credited education as the top issue in Virginia. Ahead of your State of the State this week, what do you see as the top priority for the people of South Dakota?
Well, in South Dakota, it's defending their freedom. The biggest threat we're seeing is out of the federal government. So I will be talking in my State of the State about addressing critical race theory and also making sure that we're protecting girls' sports, again, with the strongest law in the nation. Already in South Dakota, only girls play girls' sports, but we're going to put the strongest law on the books in the entire country. And then also making sure we're dealing with our historic revenues that we have, and South Dakota's in the fight, protecting our people from making sure that they don't have to comply with federal vaccine mandates. So there's a lot of things that are going very, very well in South Dakota, and I think it's because of our conservative approach to business and protecting people's lives and their social decisions that they make for their families. I think it's incredibly important that we tell that story.
And of course, the economy is doing well. I'm going to get into the job creation as well. But let's talk COVID for a while. You've been giving out free testing for over a year. You just ordered an additional 1 million tests. Joe Biden said the nation was closer to ever to declaring independence from COVID. And we just saw the highest number of cases on record last week. We're expecting 5 million people to call out sick this upcoming week because of Omicron.
Yeah, the federal government and Joe Biden have mandated vaccines, yet they tell the states that it's up to us to deal with COVID. For over a year, South Dakota has been providing free tests to our citizens. And this next week, we will ensure that every single citizen has access to a free test in their home communities. That is far above and beyond what the federal government has delivered. Joe Biden consistently makes promises. We deliver. And I think that really is the story that has resonated throughout the last couple of years, is we've trusted our people. We've given them personal responsibility to make the best decisions for their families, and we've supported them with resources. We kept our economy open. We're benefiting from that. Our kids have been in classrooms, and our State of the State address in dealing with COVID and dealing with this pandemic will tell the story of the examples of success and benefits and profits that our businesses and our families have seen because of that approach.
Well, I mean, young people and students have been the real losers. American children are disadvantaged as a result of the remote learning. And look what's going on in Chicago right now. Is it that the teachers' union are just running the show, rolling over Joe Biden?
Absolutely. It is absolutely it. And I think what is amazing is so many people are watching what's happening across the country and they're waking up. I love seeing these parents show up at school board meetings, pushing back on teachers' unions that are putting themselves first above our children. So in South Dakota, our kids have been in the classroom the entire time this last year. We are the state that our kids lost the least amount in this last pandemic in educational opportunities and successes. Our kids have done the best. And they've done the best because they've been in the classrooms together with their teachers. They've been learning and they've been excelling.
Governor, stay with us. We want to slip in a short break, but I want to talk more about rising inflation, why the Biden administration is blaming the meat conglomerates for the higher prices rather than the Democrats' massive spending plans. We're talking with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, and we'll be right back.
The President, the Secretary of Agriculture have both spoken to what we've seen as the greed of meat conglomerates. That is an area where people go to the grocery store and they're trying to buy a pound of meat, 2 pounds of meat, 10 pounds of meat. The prices are higher.
The price of meat is up 16% year over year. I am back with South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, and that was White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki last month, blaming the big meat producers for prices skyrocketing 16% in the last year. Governor, your reaction?
Well, they're blaming the right people, but they're doing the wrong thing. They should do exactly what President Trump did, is he charged his Department of Justice to investigate the packers and go after them and make sure that our antitrust, anti-competitive laws are being enforced and followed by these packers. Instead, what Joe Biden is doing and what she's talking about is attacking capitalism, attacking our free markets, and that's not American. And so I would caution people, yes, we have a huge issue with our packers, a huge issue with rising meat prices. But what Joe Biden is doing is trying to divert away from the real solution and to attack our way of life here in this country. So I'm going to keep pushing him. I led a coalition of governors to send a letter and to raise awareness with the White House that we are holding them accountable to restarting this investigation that President Trump started, and to make sure that they really do solve the problem, not just talk about it in a way to rip down our country and everything that it stands on.
Well, I think you make a great point about capitalism, because it's not just meat, Governor. Look at the prices of food in America today. Inflation is skyrocketing. We heard Jay Powell say, let's remove the word transitory. Time to put it to rest. What about the idea that we've got all of this money sloshing and sloshing around this economy, chasing too few goods? You've got prices for food up across the board after a $1.9 trillion COVID package last March, and efforts to continue spending more money with the Build Back Better agenda.
And Maria, I have talked for years about how our food supply is a national security issue. How when another country grows our food for us and provides our food for us, that they control us. And that's what I'm concerned about, is the way this administration is attacking American enterprises and businesses and farmers and ranchers, and not really dealing with the real issue. And that's the control of out-of-country businesses, China controlling our food markets. One of the biggest problems I had during the pandemic was a China-owned processing facility right here in South Dakota. And they didn't want to work with me because they didn't have to, and because this administration didn't make them do that. So I really think it's a big concern. People get worried about a virus. I get worried as well about how scary it gets in this country when people go to their grocery stores and there isn't any food there, and realize that another country controls it, because we have an administration that allowed the other countries to have control over those markets and didn't address the real problems that we have within our antitrust and anti-competitive laws on the books.
Yeah, I think this is a great point, because we cannot rely on production of goods that we need, like prescription drugs, like food, made outside of the country, particularly in China. Now, people are flocking to South Dakota. South Dakota was in the top 3 in the nation for people moving in from other states in 2021. I know you're going to address this in your State of the State next week. Tell me about the economics of South Dakota right now and why you're seeing an influx of people.
Well, people don't come to South Dakota for our beaches, Maria, or for our weather in January, but they are coming to South Dakota because they want to live somewhere where the government respects them, where they can have freedom to have the way to raise their families like America intended. So our typical growth in our state government revenue is about 5% a year. South Dakota had over 15% growth. We tripled our average growth in the last year, and that is directly because of economic principles that we held close and followed. That was the foundation of this country. So remember, we don't have an income tax, no corporate income tax, no personal property tax. All we have is a 4.5-cent sales tax. And because our economy is the best economy in the nation, our state government and our state will benefit from the ability to invest into long-term infrastructure projects that'll make a difference for the next 50 to 60 years. We're putting historic money into reserves, into trust funds. We've paid off bonds and debt, and now we are building railroads, fixing dams, high-speed internet access to every home in the state. It's amazing what we're able to do because we followed conservative principles in how we run our economy.
Well, so much so that your name is being bandied about as a potential for a candidate for vice president. Are you looking for higher office, Governor?
I'm looking for South Dakota to continue to lead the nation as an example. I love our state. I have no intention to leave our state. Our people are fantastic. We got a lot of good work we can do here for the next several years while I have the chance to maybe be governor if they trust me to get me reelected, and have the chance to work with them for the next 4 years.
All right, Governor, we'll be watching. Good to have you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem joining us this morning in that exclusive.